pros, all the retro vibes, attractive, compact design, plenty of ports, ease of service and upgradability, solid value, cons, and 8 gigabyte model is very limited. iOS-based software needs tweaking. Nostalgia is one hell of a drug. Ionia is on a journey to make us all relive the simpler, earlier days of tech as part of its remake series. Their handheld gaming systems have the most buzz, but the one I was most interested in was the Retro Mini PC AM01, with obvious ties to the original Macintosh. It's aimed at light gaming and everyday computing, all with a retro vibe that flare up the generic world of mini PC design. It's more than just a gimmick, though the main appeal is the retro joy this little PC brings. About 256 gigs and 512 gigs and 2 TB. The PCIe Gen 3 SSD, 2.5-inch SATA SSD support. Everybody 3x USB-A 3.2 Gen 2, as I write it, 3019 times DisplayPort 1.4, Wi-Fi 6, Bluetooth 5.2, Ryzen 7 5700U, Wi-Fi 5, Bluetooth 4.2. Right now you can only purchase the Ionio Retro Mini PC AN01 from Indiegogo with limited units up for grabs. Depending on your needs and preferences, there are various configurations to choose from with 2 CPU options, AMD Ryzen 7 5700U and Ryzen 3 3200U. You can get it in a bare bones configuration too if you have your own RAM and storage. Pricing starts at $200 for the Ryzen 3 3200U bundled with 8 gigabyte SSD. The most high-end option featuring the Ryzen 7 5700U 32 gigs RAM and a 1 terabyte SSD is selling at $421. Ionio deserves full credit for dedicating itself to the design and incorporating intricate details into this mini PC. The distinctive creamy textured plastic shell, the power button design like a 2T switch, and the classic air vents all contribute to the appeal. It bears enough resemblance to the original Macintosh that makes it instantly recognizable. It's the smallest details of the design that sell the aesthetic, and I totally bought it. And it truly stands out, taking a tiny bit of space on your desk, measuring 0.1 inches in length and width with a height of 2.38 inches. For comparison's called sake, the Retro Mini PC AM01 has a smaller footprint than the Mac Mini, but is a bit taller and chunkier. The point is that it should easily fit under your monitor or even around your TV if you intend to use it as a multimedia PC. Not that you'd want to hide it, of course.
Showing off that you're running an entire PC experience out of this adorable little chassis is half the fun.
There's proper ventilation on the sides and the bottom, along with a nice selection of ports. At the back are 3 full-size USB Type-A ports with 3.2 Gen 2, USB speeds, a single USB 2.0 port, HDMI 2.0, DisplayPort 1.4, an Ethernet jack, and a barrel charging port. At the front, there's also a USB Type-C 1 port and a 3.5mm audio combo jack. I was also impressed with Ionio's approach towards packaging. Apart from the usual set of documentation, the mini PC comes with a healthy bunch of add-ons and accessories that make the entire experience worth the asking cost. Not only do you get stickers and magnets, but the mini PC comes with an HDMI 2.0 cable, swappable regional plugs for the wall charger, a spare set of edge screws, and even 2 tiny screwdrivers with plastic spedgers. There's flexibility in terms of service and upgradability too. The bottom cover can be taken off by removing 4 screws in each corner that also hold the rubber feet in place. It's a pretty simple process, and then both screwdrivers and spudgers come in handy. The cooling solution covers most of the mainboard, hence the RAM and storage are on the other side. To get access, you need to remove 3 small screws that hold the mainboard into place, followed by a few delicate cables. It's also important to read the manual before you start poking around. There are 2 memory slots that support DDR4 RAM, which is notably selling pretty cheaply at the moment. In terms of storage, there's a PCIe M.2 2280 slot and the option of installing a 2.5-inch SSD with all the necessary cables and mounting plate included in the package. Like most laptops, the Wi-Fi module can also be replaced or upgraded on the AM01. And now, that's something you can't do on a Mac Mini, that's for sure. The review unit sent to me included a single stick of 8 GB DDR4 3200 MHz memory and a 512 gig PCIe Gen 3 SSD made by Phison. Now, Gen 3 SSD speeds are terrible, but the included drive could have been better. It offered sequential read and write speeds of up to 2,400 megabytes per second and 1,250 megabytes in Crystal Disk Mark, leaving some headroom for a faster drive. The company clearly says that this machine is not meant for modern games. Rather, the hardware is suitable for office work, casual multimedia, and internet browsing, as well as retro console game emulation. The unit I got included the more powerful Ryzen 7 5700U, which features an 8-core CPU that can turbo up to 3 GHz and integrated Radeon graphics with 8 cores and 1900 MHz clock speeds. I'm sure it isn't the fastest compared to today's standards, but because the chip is fairly reliable, INEO has tweaked the power rating so it can push up to 35W, which is, in my opinion, should be plenty for what this machine is intended for. And to get a sense of the performance the AM01 offers, I updated the drivers along with all the latest Windows 11 updates before running some basic benchmark tests. Within a few hours, I realized that 8 GB of RAM was just not cutting it. The system was visibly slowing down when opening more than 2 or 3 applications, running them side by side. The good thing is that I could bump the memory up 16 GB by adding another 8 GB stick for only 20. INEO AM1 Ryzen 7 5700U plus 16 gigs RAM. INEO 01 Ryzen 7 5700U plus 8 GB RAM. HP Envy Ryzen 7 570U 9818. 7384, 8880, 1230, a 612 company, 1260, 6943, 4384, 7128, and a 1590, 1527, 1195. 3,601, 2,085, 1,447, 4724, 3852, 2 minutes, 5 second, 1 minute, 58 second, and 6539 GIPS, and 52.61 GIPS. And by doubling the RAM, I saw a noticeable boost in performance, which was also evident in the various benchmark tests I carried out. I also compared the results of the AM01 with an older model of the HP Envy X36015 powered by the same Ryzen 7 5700U processor. Comparing the results, it was pretty evident that you can expect the performance of AM01 to be as good as a 2-year-old thin and light laptop. Simply put, the AM01 is an efficient everyday PC that you can use for daily work, including web browsing, catching up on emails, and even a bit of light photo and video editing. The hardware isn't a match for modern gaming titles, but I was curious about its capabilities and just went ahead with some popular ones. Starting with Rise of the Tomb Raider at the lowest graphic settings, the mini PC tried its best to deliver a consistent 30 FPS. Next, I fired up Cyberpunk 2077, which I know is a bit of a stretch, but to my surprise, the game managed to load, even though I could barely get close to 10 FPS. At 1080p resolution with low graphic settings, I got pretty close to 60 FPS in competitive shooter titles like Apex Legends and Counter-Strike 2, which is just about acceptable. Even GTA 5 managed to run around 50 to 60 FPS at low settings. If you intend to play indie games or popular titles from a few years ago, the AM01 should be able to hold on its own. Here's where the mini PC truly excels, and as a bonus, I got myself a crash course on how to relive my childhood. While I was already aware of the simplicity of enjoying classic console games on a modern PC, testing the AM01 led me down a captivating rabbit hole. After a fair bit of research, I installed Launchbox, an exceptional piece of software catering to all gaming needs. It efficiently organizes and categorizes installed games and fetches game metadata, box covers, fan art, screenshots, logos, and more from its extensive database. The standout feature is that Launchbox seamlessly integrates RetroArch within the software. This is a powerful front end for various emulators, allowing you to run classic games on a PC with ease. After tinkering with different settings and grabbing the correct game ROMs, I indulged in games like the original God of War that debuted on the PlayStation 2, the complete Dragon Ball Z Tenkaichi series, and a multitude of Super Mario and Pokemon titles. Launchbox and RetroArch inherently support various controllers, including the Xbox Series XS controller, which was my choice of controller. Another interesting use case of this mini PC is cloud streaming. Microsoft's Xbox Game Pass Ultimate and NVIDIA's GeForce Now enable game streaming from remote servers instead of relying on local processing power. If you already have a gaming PC or a Steam Deck, you can use Steam to enable remote play and enjoy the latest gaming titles on a large screen. The AM01 comes with Windows 11 preloaded. If you go for the model with included storage and memory, I was pleased to see the company did not add any bloatware and went with a clean installation. The only two things you will see are the custom retro wallpaper and the company's system tuning software called iSpace, which has been borrowed from their handhelds. iSpace offers a range of system controls, like letting you switch between various performance profile presets, limit your FPS frames per second in games, tune fan speeds, set up your controller, and much more. The app's homepage acts as a launcher that gathers all of your games into a single place. Additionally, there's a small floating widget that you can enable if you like to constantly keep an eye on your CPU and GPU temperatures. This widget is also handy to pull out a compact version of iSpace to access important system settings. And when I found the utility very useful and crucial for using this mini PC, it still needs some polishing. There have been instances when it freezes randomly or doesn't apply a certain performance profile. I encountered a few app updates recently, which essentially shows the company's commitment to ironing out issues. The Neo Retro Mini PC AM01 is an excellent mini PC that excels as a desktop replacement. Obviously, the look of the device is the main draw, but it does have the performance to back it up too. There are endless possibilities for ways to use this in your home. You can use it as a dedicated work machine, a retro gaming console, a cloud streaming device, an HTPC, or even a NAS, network attached storage. A compact size is also as the possibility. Placing it almost anywhere in your home, office, or even a backpack while traveling. On top of that, it offers a distinguished retro design, is reasonably priced, starting at just $200, and even has scope for memory and storage expansion. Of course, you have to know what you're getting. This isn't a mini PC for high-end gaming performance. For that, look into the Intel NUC 12 Enthusiast Mini PC, or the fourth fitting Asus model, or just invest in any of the modern handheld consoles. But from what the Neo Retro Mini PC AM01 claims to be, it's a winner.